My mom and sister exploited my grief just for sympathy and Facebook likes, ignoring my pain. This is going to be a long one because I need to lay it all out. My grandmother, Nana Rose, passed away last month. She was 88, had lived a full, vibrant life, but her decline in the last year was painful to watch. She was my rock, my confidant, my biggest cheerleader. We had a bond that was unlike anything else in my life. She was the person who understood me, who listened without judgment, who always had a warm hug and a knowing smile. Her death has utterly shattered me. I'm 26F, and I feel like an orphan in my soul. From the moment we got the call that she was gone, I entered a fog of grief so thick I could barely breathe. My world went from vibrant color to muted gray. The pain was physical, a constant ache in my chest. I cried until I had no tears left, then I just felt hollow. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep. Every memory, every scent, every song reminded me of her. My expectation was that my family, my mom, Brenda, and my sister Sarah, would be there for me. We're family, right? We're supposed to lean on each other during times of loss. I knew they were grieving too, in their own ways, but I truly thought we'd navigate this together, supporting each other through this immense pain. I was naive. So incredibly naive. The first sign something was off was the day after Nana passed. I was at my parents' house, completely inconsolable, wrapped in one of Nana's old cardigans that still smelled faintly of her lavender perfume. My mom came into the living room, not to offer a hug, but with her phone in hand. "Sweetie, can you sit up a bit? I want to get a picture of you with Nana's locket. It would be really touching for Facebook." I stared at her, utterly bewildered. "Mom? I can barely breathe. A picture? For Facebook?" She looked slightly annoyed. "Well, yes. People need to know how much we're hurting. It's important for everyone to see our grief." My sister, Sarah, walked in then, already strategically positioned. "Yeah, my name. Just a quick one. Maybe you can look thoughtfully at the locket? Or a tear on your cheek would be good." I refused. Politely, but firmly. I couldn't even fathom it. My grief felt sacred, personal, raw. Not something to be exploited for public consumption. Their reaction was instant dismissal. My mom sighed dramatically. "Fine, be difficult. I'll just have to do it myself." She and Sarah then proceeded to take a series of photos of themselves looking somber, clutching photos of Nana, gazing sadly into the middle distance. They posted them with lengthy captions about their unbearable pain and how much they'll miss our angel. The comments poured in, all sympathetic and loving. I felt a cold knot of dread form in my stomach. The wake and funeral were a waking nightmare. My mom and sister were dressed impeccably, with dark sunglasses perched on their noses, even indoors. My mom carried a designer handbag that Nana would have scoffed at. They spent more time looking at their phones and posing for photos than actually interacting with grieving relatives or paying respects to Nana. I saw Sarah take a selfie in the reflection of the casket, then quickly delete it when she thought no one was looking, only to take another one, slightly different angle, with my mom in the background, ostensibly comforting her. I actually saw her instructing my mom to look more distraught for a photo. They were constantly checking their phones, responding to comments on their posts, meticulously crafting an image of the heartbroken daughters and granddaughters. My own grief was raw and messy. My face was puffy, my nose was red, my hair was disheveled. I cried openly and uncontrollably. When I tried to share a memory of Nana with my mom, she'd nod absently, then quickly pivot the conversation to something about the beautiful turnout or how many likes her latest post had gotten. My pain was an inconvenience, something to be tidied away so it didn't detract from their performance. At the graveside, as Nana was being lowered into the earth, I felt like I was being torn apart. I crumbled, sobbing into my hands. My dad, bless him, put an arm around me, offering genuine comfort. My mom, however, approached me afterwards, not to hug me, but to whisper, "Can you try to compose yourself a little? People are looking. It's not a good look." Sarah then stepped in, pulling out her phone. "Mom, let's get a picture with the flowers and the headstone. It's so pretty." They ignored my tear-streaked face, my agony, and posed in front of the fresh grave, smiling faintly, looking brave and resilient for the camera. The memorial luncheon was worse. They each gave long, dramatic speeches about Nana, full of flowery language, but devoid of any real, personal anecdotes that truly captured Nana's spirit. They talked about their own pain, their own journey through grief, barely mentioning my name, let alone my deep relationship with Nana. They posted snippets of their speeches online, garnering even more praise. I tried, multiple times, to interject, to share a specific, cherished memory of Nana, like the time she taught me how to bake her famous apple pie, or how she'd secretly send me funny postcards from her travels. Each time, I was cut off or my story was quickly overshadowed by their own, more dramatic recollections, or their need to check their phones. It felt like they were erasing my grief, my connection to Nana, from the entire narrative. The absolute breaking point was a week after the funeral. I was still barely functioning. My mom called me. "I need you to send me some of your favorite photos of Nana and you," she said, her voice bright. "I'm making a grief tribute reel for Facebook and I want to include everyone." I felt a surge of hope. Maybe, just maybe, she was finally going to acknowledge my pain. So I painstakingly went through old photos, picked out some beautiful, deeply personal ones, and sent them to her. She posted the reel that evening. It was about 2 minutes long. 90% of it was photos of her and Sarah with Nana. A few photos of my dad. And then, at the very end, for about 3 seconds, was a blurry, distant photo of Nana and me, almost an afterthought. The caption was all about our family's journey through this difficult time, heavily emphasizing her and Sarah's strength and love. My photos, my memories, were reduced to a fleeting, insignificant glimpse. I called her, my voice trembling with anger and hurt. "Mom, why did you barely include my photos? Why did you make it all about you and Sarah?" She sounded genuinely surprised. "What are you talking about, sweetie? I included you. It's a family tribute. Besides, everyone loves my posts. They're so touching. You know, sometimes you just need to put your best foot forward, even in grief." She then added, almost as an aside, "You should probably post something about how much you appreciate my strength right now, too. It would look good." I hung up. I just hung up. The raw pain of losing Nana was amplified 1,000 times by this blatant, self-serving exploitation. They didn't care about my grief. They cared about performing their grief for social media validation. They cared about likes, comments, and the image of themselves as saintly, heartbroken daughters. My agony was just a backdrop, an inconvenient reality that didn't fit their carefully crafted narrative. I haven't spoken to either of them since. I've blocked them on social media. I know they'll eventually reach out, probably asking what's wrong, completely oblivious to the depth of my hurt. Am I overreacting? Is this just how some people cope? Or are my feelings of betrayal and disgust justified? How do you grieve when the people who should be your biggest support system are actively using your heartbreak as content? I feel so alone in my sorrow, completely unseen by the very people who claim to be family.